edition of Singles Only Podcast. My name is Paul Farahvar. I'm your host. We have no voice of reason on this show because we are doing this show live via Zoom. If you haven't already, subscribe, view, share, tell your friends. Give us a feedback. Email me at pfarahvar@gmail.com. Check out our sponsors. But right now, we're going to bring our guests. We're just going to get right into it here because it's 2020. We don't have time for all that jibber jabber. She is a sports personality and a comedian, all the way from New York. A-Marie. There she is.
Love this. Hi.
I love doing that. Hey, Marie. Hey, Marie. I saw that David Letterman did that. I stole that. I saw him do it on
Love that
on the show, and I was like, that's how you start. He actually.
I love you when you're. I was like, oh my god, I can just like you give me an intro and I'll walk in. I love that. I miss that feeling.
He came in through a door and did all this stuff, but I'm like, I kind of like just having an empty seat, so people are like, ooh, who's it gonna be?
Who's it gonna be? Yeah. Oh. Very, very smart of you.
I'm not some idiot here in a yellow room. I know what's up. So, A-Marie, we don't know each other, but I've heard great things from a mutual friend, and I heard from the grapevine that you are single.
Yes.
Okay, so here's my question, because from a guy's point of view, you are a sports personality. You know about sports, probably more than most men, and you're an attractive and funny woman. How is this possible that you are a single person in this world?
I will not lie. I think it's a choice.
Okay. So you're a man eater. No, I'm just kidding.
Man eater. No, this has been a hard thing for me to accept, but I do feel like being single is a choice.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like you create your own reality and you like choose like at the end of the day, it's me. It's the reason why I'm single is because of me. You can blame your circumstances, you can blame whatever, you can blame the world, the apps, or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? Like, kind of your choice.
Well, I mean, you say blame. It's not necessarily blame if you're happy being single, and it sounds like you're pretty happy. So.
Right. No. And I will agree with that too. Like I'm not okay. So let's back that up. I choose to be single at this point in my life.
Okay. Have you ever been in a serious relationship beyond a year?
Yeah.
Okay. No, some people haven't. So when was the last time you were in a long-term serious relationship?
The last time I was in a long serious relationship was from 2011 to 2013.
Okay, 2 years, and since that time, have you had dates that have lasted beyond the 2-3 month period?
Yes.
Okay.
But nothing crazy.
Okay. So what are you what is it that's keeping you from going back to that long-term thing? Now, just so you know, this show, we don't believe in marriage. I think it's an outdated institution. For those that listen to the show, know that I think that, it's especially for comedians, it's hard to be in a relationship because, there's so many reasons in addition to our own psyche and all kinds of issues. But why do you think it is why do you want to be in another relationship or what's keeping you?
So without knowing me, listening to this podcast, I think before I just wanted to be accepted and loved and validation. And then once I grew past my last serious relationship, I realized that I was unsure of even, I knew where I wanted my career to be, but like, I didn't know where I wanted to end up. I'm like, I knew for a fact I didn't want kids either, which weirdly that plays a huge factor in dating.
Yeah.
People are like, okay, like, and I'm not trying to be like this, like I am a like athletic, immortal human being. So people are like, why don't you want to produce kids? And I'm like, just don't want them. Never have. But joking aside, I think because I wasn't sure where I wanted to end up in life, that I think it was unfair to commit to someone when I wasn't sure of what I wanted or where I wanted to be.
Sure. Well, you said that kids is a big part of it. My friends who are married, happy or otherwise, say that if you don't want to get married, if you don't want to have kids, there's really no basis to getting married. So if you take that a step further, why can't you do this journey on your own and then along the way see what happens?
Agreed. And I've never wanted kids. I love kids. I just have never. I feel like it's weird because so I'm 34, and the whole time I've been in my adulthood, I've been a nanny, and everyone thinks because I've been a nanny, I don't want kids, but it's like, I just have never, I've always wanted to just be the cool aunt. Like, I feel like kids, they become your life, and I don't want that to be my priority. I want to have freedom. And I think people get weird about that, but I just know what I want. And I don't ever want kids to restrict me or hold me back on whatever I want to do in life. Absolutely. And I don't want my kids to resent me. I don't want anything. Like, everyone's like, oh, but when you have your own kids, it'll be different. Or I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, when you have a child, that becomes your life. And I don't want that. I want freedom.
Yeah. And I think that what you're saying is accurate in the sense that this is why we need a voice of reason. When two people like you and I agree on almost everything, we have someone that's married to be like, well, what about this? But if I were a person, if I was a person of voice of reason, I'd say, well, you don't know what's going to happen, but you also, the cool aunt thing, I love that. I love kids. I love my brother's kids. I love hanging out with them, but I also love that when it's time for bed, they go and I can go on Instagram and go to a show or whatever. There's a lot to be said about that independence to have, and your kids become your life when you have those. So
freedom.
So we're already agreeing. All right, that's the end of the podcast. See you later. No, but you said you're an athlete. What is that?
Oh no, I mean I meant that I'm 6. I meant that I'm 6 foot, okay. And so now in my 30s, this is what's so weird. I feel like in my 20s, guys were intimidated by my height, but now in my 30s, guys are like, yo, this girl's a breeder, and we could produce like a athlete and like a D, sure. like a first round. Like, it's a combine at a bar now. Like, people come in and like they scout me like a prospect. They're like, girl, I see those hips, I see this height. Like, let's produce a first round draft pick. Let's have a future. You know what I mean?
Athletic background? Were you in sports?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I played college, and then I was recruited to play college basketball, and then I didn't because my family reminds me every day, like, why?
Yeah.
Well, I ended up not playing, but yeah, I was recruited to play college basketball.
So just so you know, I was a state champion tennis player too. So I'm not some.
I mean, over here. That's what I thought when I saw you on this Zoom.
I'm just kidding. I was on the bench. 6 foot tall. Have you dated people that are shorter than you, or?
So besides the whole kid factor, height really does, as much as people think that height doesn't matter, it really does, and it really affects everything. I have not dated someone I've dated someone like an inch shorter than me. I'm not saying like shorter. We're like same level, like maybe what shoes we're wearing or like how good our posture is that day. I have never dated someone really short.
Yeah, your hair looks like it gives you another.
I know, I have a lot of hair. No, but I have a lot of hair in general.
High too, so you're probably like 6'3", 6'4" now, right?
Yeah, no. Okay. With this hair, yeah, it's a lot of hair right now. Quarantine, I haven't been able to see my hairstylist, so this is a lot right now.
So 5'11" to what's the tallest you've dated?
Dated or had sex with, that's a big difference. But I guess the tallest guy I've dated, it's all been in like the 6'1" to 6'3" range. Tallest guy I've slept with is probably like 6'3".
Oh, that's not that. I would expect.
No, you would be surprised, but the tall guys like the short girls. They don't stay in their lane. I'm telling you, these short girls don't stay in their lane.
So your demographic of what you can date or hook up with, even sleeping with, is really complicated too. Because if a guy like I'm 5'9", we could never. There's no you know, it would be really limited in sex opportunities.
Well, this is what's weird though. I
Tiny
feel
would
like
be impossible. Let's just
I
be
feel like I feel like shorter guys. I get hit on more by short guys than I do tall men.
Really?
Actually.
What?
Oh yeah.
Like, what are they just like? Hey, like they just look up at you and they're like, I think this is gonna work.
Right.
Okay.
It's weird though. It's weird though because yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Have you? Okay, so you're obviously not gonna. So a lot of guys, especially shorter guys that have done the podcast, have been upset when women on height things or on the dating app,
So mad.
they get so mad that they're like, if you're under 5'9", swipe left or swipe right or whatever. You actually, you have that right to do. I mean, if a girl is like 5'2" and she says that, it's kind of like, okay, really, you really are gonna get a fucking, you're gonna be that. But for your situation, it doesn't make sense to date someone under like maybe 5'11", but
I just don't understand. Like, guys will judge me. They'll be like, "Oh, you only like tall guys." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm physically like
right.
6 foot athletic girl. Like, I like. Why can't you? Why is it a problem if I like someone, attract someone like physically? You know what I mean? Like, I'm attracted to guys who are bigger than me.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think that's a like just like if someone likes someone with an ass or boobs or hair or like feet, legs,
Yeah,
whatever.
There's a lot of guys out there that are like, I like girls with no hair. No, I get it.
No, you know what I'm saying, like physical
Sure.
features. Like I'm like, I don't think it's a bad thing if I like someone who's tall. Like I like someone who's on my, you know, who
But
I can feel.
you're not dating. I mean, for you to say tall, you're going 5'11" to 6'3", it looks like, and that's not necessarily tall. That's your range. It's like guys dating women in a certain age, that in their age bracket. You're
Right.
in your.
But yeah,
That's.
I don't. But that's just average. I think that's just statistics. Like I'm not like a stats person, but just the average person, average guy out there. I mean, that seems to be. I don't meet a lot of 6'5" guys.
Wait, but if you were saying you were only so for the comparison for you would be if you were saying I only will date guys 6'7" and taller. You're not even doing that. You're dating guys
Right.
in your lane.
Right. I'm saying, yeah, what's available? What's available?
And you're saying that's interesting that guys shorter are hating on you. Now, are you, because like I dated a girl.
Oh my God. All the time. Short guys are like, I want to climb that tree. I had a guy once tell me they want to be the first guy to go up on me.
Okay.
And that was a pretty famous comedian, but I was like, I don't know if he was kidding, but I was like, that's the funniest thing that someone's ever told me.
Nevin Hart.
No, Jackie Martling.
I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, Jackie from Howard Stern. Do you so aside from the height thing, have you had how are you meeting guys then? Like how are you meeting generally?
So, through my networks, like I've tried. I am a overly optimistic individual. I think the apps are cool, and I think comedian. I think it's cool that because we kind of live a different lifestyle that I thought the apps were. At first, when I got on the apps after my last serious relationship, I was like, these are kind of cool because, you know, it's hard to meet people when you're a comedian or on the road or like our hours. But then I was like, oof, there's like, it's a lot. The apps are work.
Yeah, I mean, if it's hard to keep up with. It depends on how.
It's like a job, though.
Yeah, you gotta keep up with it. It's
Definitely that work.
Have you gone on dates from people on apps? First of all, yes.
Okay, no,
Okay.
Okay. 3 times in 6 years.
Okay.
And not that I'm not against it. It's just when I go in cycles, like where I'll go on these apps once in a while. And I'm like, oh, I should be just putting myself out there. Like I'm trying to like talk myself out. I was like, you know, I should just like keep putting myself out there. I don't know. And it usually just turns into like a sports debate, like about Kirk Cousins or that's current, sorry.
Viking fan, sure.
Viking fan, but like the ongoing debate, or it's just like a sports debate, or like a guy wants to become a comedian, and I'm like, okay, this isn't like, I'm not your life coach. This isn't First Take. Okay, I'm about to lie about who I am. I'm gonna say, if I go back on the dating apps, I'm like, I'm an accountant. I'm gonna say something really not sports personality or comedian, because like people are intimidated by that. I don't know. I'm not being negative. I guess it's
true.
intimidating.
Have you so if you've only gone on 3 dates that way, where are you meeting people predominantly then?
I'm a very social person through my groups and through just being out.
Have you dated during the pandemic?
Okay, so this is good. Okay, so I did not date.
You did.
I have men that I have been seeing post-pandemic before last March. And during the pandemic, I didn't see anyone. Everyone was pretty
pre-pandemic, you mean?
Pre-pandemic, I was seeing some people. And then during the pandemic, everyone spread out. Like it wasn't like they were like near me. And I was about to say end of the pandemic, we're still in it. September, when things got a little positive, you're like, oh, we're starting to see light, like we could go out to bars and stuff again, whatever. I was like, you know what? Everyone was telling me that they were doing like Zoom dates. And I was like, you're doing Zoom dates? I hate Zoom shows. Like I was doing Zoom shows. I hated them. I was like, Zoom dates? They're like, no, Amory, it's good. You get to know the person. I'm like, okay, well, this is okay, whatever.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll put myself on these apps again. I was inspired. And I was like, 2020 is a weird year. Maybe this will like be different.
Sure.
Going on the apps. Went on the apps, hit it off with this guy. Of course, sports is always like 90% of male. I'm not saying you have to like sports, but 90% of the time, that's my like icebreaker and how I start talking with dudes. And I hit off with this guy, and it was like really cool, because then we realized we had mutual friends, and like our mutual friends were like, you guys are going to be the perfect match. I was like, this is weird, because I guess like the longer I live in New York, it's like a smaller world, right? I go on a date with this guy. I was supposed to go on a date with this guy on a Sunday. This was before football season, right before football season. The Friday before I hung out with him, I went to go meet up with his friends and him on a boat in the Hamptons. It's a whole long story. I'm going to tell you about it. But the night before we went out, we were like on FaceTime for 3 hours, like just watching baseball and stuff. Like we were having the best time. I was like, wow, this is weird. I was like, maybe dating apps work. Like I had some like light. Friday, we were just like going back and forth, excited about our date on the Sunday coming up. And I had nothing to do. And he was like, hey, if you want. And I was like, had a long day. Like I was just like stressed out. He's like, hey, you should come meet me and my friends on this boat. We were in the Hamptons or whatever. I was like, all right. Come and meet up with them, hit it out of the park. It's going good. And then towards the end of the night,
you both hit it out of the park, or you hit it out of the park? Like it was.
Well, from what I viewed, I thought we were doing really well, both of us.
Okay.
We started drinking, so I was like,
how old is this guy?
I'm 34. He's 30.
How tall is this guy? I said.
Tall. Oh, he's tall. He's taller than me. He's 6'1", 6'2".
Age appropriate, it sounds like.
Age appropriate. Sports teams, we kind of butt heads, but it's still fine. But then we hit it off, and then towards the end of the night, these girls come to the boat, and he like leaves with another girl, and it was so weird.
What?
Yeah.
He invited you on a boat.
Right. Until this day. Because I thought I was crazy. Like, listen,
shit.
When I was in my early 20s, I know I was crazy, daddy issue girl. But I'm like 34, and I was like, I know I drink a lot of White Claws. I know I was drunk, but I was like, what happened? Like, I literally till this day, Paul, I'm telling you, I still don't know the disconnect.
Didn't
Unless
text
this was
him or anything and be like, fuck you or anything?
Oh no. So I get so emotional because I was like,
God.
I was on the boat with all his friends. It's not like I'm with my friends. I'm with a bunch of strangers. And all his friends were like, Amory, I'm so sorry. They felt so bad for me. And then I was like, and of course I started questioning myself. I was like, am I too drunk? Like, you know what I mean? Like a million things go through my head. I text my friend who knows both of us. I was like, I thought you said he was a good dude.
Oh, so right. That brings in a whole nother thing. Yeah, okay.
And like, I'm drunk. So like, I was like, maybe I'm just being crazy. And then like, I'm so emotional and I just leave. And this girl who was kind of mutual friends, but like not mutual friends, more friends, just like with the person on the boat, not the guy I was talking to. She's like, I think you're awesome. Can I have your number? I would love to. So I gave her my number, but I was like drunk and just, I felt so weird. So then like, I'm waiting for my Uber because I'm in a weird part of the Hamptons by a dope boat dock or whatever. And I was like, okay, I was trying to be honest with myself. I was like, okay, what did I miss tonight? What did I miss? And like, I was just like so out of my head. I started crying because I was like, God damn it, man. This is so stupid. So I called our mutual friend and she's like, there's no way. This is so weird. And I was like, I tried calling him. I texted him. I said, what happened? I was like, did I do something? Like, I don't know, like nothing crazy, right? And then I was like, I got home, slept it off. And then next morning I woke up, I was like, you know what? I'm going to call it is what it is. Maybe I was drunk. I called him, left a message. I go, I don't know if I was drunk. I don't know what happened. You left with that girl, whatever. Never heard from him.
Wait a minute.
I'm being honest with you. I till this day, if he hears this podcast, I would love to know what happened. I'm being serious because it was the most bizarre situation.
Wait, there's some clues here. Let me see this. You guys went to the Hamptons together, right?
No.
You met.
We were both in the Hamptons at the same time
so
when we
he
met.
invited you and
to
you took your own Uber to this location.
I took my own Uber, yeah.
He was already there, or he said,
I'll meet you there? He's already there with these are like his buddies.
And what time was this around? This wasn't like a 10.
I met him at like 7:30 at night.
Yeah. Not a.m. Okay. What about your friends, your mutual friend? Has he shed any light on what happened?
No.
And you've asked your friend and been like,
yeah.
Is it like
I'm telling you, it's the weirdest mystery, and I will follow up with you if I ever get the answer.
Maybe it was his ex-girlfriend and he got back together with her, or?
Well, can I tell you something else?
Yeah.
He just got out of a very serious relationship and it was really fucked up what happened to him and his ex. It's a really sad story. So I think maybe he's
in a weird
maybe he was scared.
Did you remember his opinions on Kirk Cousins? Like, was that was that possibly
Giants fan? I do remember his opinions on Kirk Cousins. He was a Giants fan.
Still?
He is. Well, I don't know because he's won't talk to me.
So that was September.
Yeah.
Well, you're in luck because we have him here tonight. And that's why you're here.
Thank God. Thank God. His name is Seamus.
Yeah. That's fucked up. Well,
you know what I told my mom and everyone the next day? I go, okay, let's say I was crazy. You're not going to just say it's just like, it was just, so, we have too many connections to anything.
Well, the fact that he hasn't, even if whatever fucked up situation he had.
Let's say I was too drunk. Let's say whatever. I know that I don't know what it was.
Well, clearly you weren't, because then someone else would have said something and that girl wouldn't have got your number and the owner of the boat would have said something. Or more importantly, he would have texted you, hey, I don't like what you did or whatever. It's just very immature. How old is this guy? Now I do want to know.
30.
That's a little too old to be.
But it's like, I know he went through some fucked up shit recently and that's why he's back. It doesn't matter. The weird thing is, I guess with me is I I can't believe he just never said anything. And I even was like, what? I don't even I called myself out. I was like, did something happen? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was so.
I would think that something happened, but also if it did, I would never do something like that. First of all, I don't think
neither. I would never.
Especially if you guys had your Facebook, FaceTime, whatever.
3 hours the night before. 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that's bizarre. Maybe he was afraid he's gonna fall in love with you, and
right. Or I think maybe this other girl was another option. But like, even if that's the case, like, you invited me to that boat party. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this girl's here. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna play this?
Yeah. Maybe he invited a lot of people to that boat party, and whoever offered hand job first got the ride home. I don't know.
Well, but besides that, I've been floating, traveling, doing whatever I can for comedy, and then I also sports always help me in my corner, I gotta say. Because when I was back in the city, because I was in the city, you know, the city's been shut down. You can relate. Everywhere's been weird.
Oh, we're shut down here.
Yeah, I know. I left right the day your advised lockdown. I was in the city for Game 6 of the NBA Finals, and I met a dude. It was awesome. We hit it off because he like bet me on something, and it was awesome because I was like, this is so crazy. This guy's just like, shooters gotta shoot. He's like, hey, if the Miami Heat win, you have to make out with me. I was like, and I was so confident in the Lakers, even though the Miami Heat won that game and then went to Game 7. I was like, okay. Like, I was so confident. I was like, oh no, the Lakers are winning, you know? So that's how other things happen when I'm not swiping. It's just like naturally organic things happen.
So, well, yeah, I mean, there's a good combination of both of that. Sometimes the apps help in an assist where you'll match with someone on an app that you've known before, or they've seen your comedy, or they've heard you on the radio.
Well, and when you're in sports and comedy, it's very interesting. Like guys are what?
Did you just do a Chewbacca noise there? Okay, go ahead.
No, guys are intimidated, or I think they want to be in sports and comedy, so they're kind of like, how can I get my way in here? I'm like, I'm not going to get you in anywhere, dude.
Have you met guys after shows that have ended up being either a fling or a date?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So it happens. Typically with women on the show that come on the podcast, they say, you know, it doesn't happen as often because guys are intimidated because they want to be the funny person, and they think that, you know,
they're like, my friends think I should be a comedian.
Yeah. It happens with, just to be fair, it happens with guys too, where women think that they're.
I believe that 110%.
It happens with women way more, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, what have you? Okay, so clearly, don't go on a boat with a stranger is the takeaway from that. But what are the other things that you've learned about yourself in dating? Obviously, you throw it out there that you don't want to have kids, so that
I don't, and that's really
I don't want to have kids either. That's something that helps or hurts you. You want to get married? Do you think you want to get married?
I've gone back and forth on this. I do want to. I'm 34. I would like to have a life partner. I don't want to sound like, you know, lesbian or anything, because that's what people usually think with the whole sports thing. And this flannel I'm wearing.
Yeah, looks like you just Pearl Jam. 1994. Yeah.
No, it's a Vikings flannel. If that could only help my cause.
Soul Asylum, then. My bad. They're from Minnesota. Trust me. Okay.
I get it. So, I do want to. Okay, this might sound confusing, but I don't want kids, but I'm willing to be a stepmom or like a second wife. I have this bit that I'm going to make a great second wife one day, which I already know it's going to happen because I'm second wife material. But I think that I don't want kids, but the rate that it's going in this world, if I meet someone so amazing who has kids, I'm open to it, and to being a stepmom. But like, I do want to have like a partner, like a man friend to like settle down with, but I don't necessarily need marriage.
Sure. Well, what and
I would like, but I'd like to spend my life with someone at some point. I'm like, this will be dope. Like, we'll like grow old together. It'll be cool.
but you live by yourself right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when was the last time you lived with somebody else?
Well, because of pandemic, it's like really weird.
Right. No, I mean like whether it's in a relationship
I haven't lived with someone.
ever.
No, I lived with someone before, but like a long time ago.
2011 to 2013, that guy?
No.
Okay. So
Guy
you've
before
done that. Okay, so and obviously if you don't want to have kids, then you can get married or have this life partner at any time in your life.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like,
Yeah.
kind of like, there's no pressure, and I'm very excited because I'm a career-oriented person, which, and I hope eventually, I think that will lead to me finding the person I want to end up with.
Would you date other comedians or what's your rule on that?
I have dated other comedians. It's not that I don't want to date another comedian. I just need someone on my level.
What do you mean?
Um,
On your level in comedy, they have to be funnier?
Not comedy. I'm like super ambitious, and I'm like,
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, you gotta have money, and you gotta have to want the big life.
There's not a lot of comics who are above 6 foot anyway, so I think you're okay. Like most of us are getting.
If you see one, let me know.
What about other people in the sports world, whether they're other newscasters or anchors or personalities or actual athletes? What's your rule on that?
I would love them. That would be great.
Yeah. Have you
I
dated?
feel like we'd have similar lifestyles, and just like being a comedian, now that I work in sports media, it's the same hours, and it's a very weird schedule.
Yeah.
That's why even you and I were communicating like when to have this
Right.
podcast. It's because now I work in sports media and it's all the time. So it'd be nice. That's why I think sometimes it'd be nice to date someone as a comic or sports media, because they understand my lifestyle.
Well, it's like a passion that you have, and also that in addition to that, it's just the hours and like people don't understand you have to go to an open mic or a show guest spot when you're in town and whatever.
Right. So like past guys I've hung out with, like when I say at 12:30 a.m. I can hang out, it's not because I'm like, who this, like, you up? I'm like, no, I'm done with work now.
No, that's when I go get dinner. It's like after a show.
I'm like, oh no, this is when my hangout starts. You're not that special.
That's the same. Yeah. When I did radio too, it's crazy hours in comedy. Obviously, girls that I date, we go out at 10:30 p.m. for dinner because I don't eat before my show. So I get it. Athletes, have you dated any
Yes.
athlete? Okay. And you do it again still?
Yeah, they're great.
Okay. Good to know.
The guys I have dated, it wasn't good timing, but I'm like not mad at it. Just not
These
the
are
time.
okay. So what sports have you conquered?
Mostly NHL, but it's digging into NFL now.
All right, there you go. So is there like you're not a jersey chaser, clearly. So is there like a category?
No, I'm not a jersey chaser at all.
You're in the sports world, so it's different. You're on their level.
Right.
Have you learned anything from dating these guys that you're like, okay, never date a power forward or anything like that?
What's funny is in college, I should have been a power forward. They were trying to move me to power forward.
Okay.
No, I just think it's unfortunate, just like being a comedian or entertainer. I think there's a stereotype, and these people, I feel bad. I have empathy for athletes and entertainers just because I'm somewhat of one. So
Sure.
I think people think they have an easier time or like whatever because they're an athlete, and I'm like, no,
Sure.
they're just like you and me, normal people. And I feel like they're put on, and it's hard for them to date, just like how it is for us.
Is there anything like in dating the sports figures that you're like, oh, how they are on the field, like is also like if they're a ball hog, they're also like a selfish lover. Is there something to be said about that?
No, it's completely different. You leave it on the court. You know what I mean? You leave it on the field. You leave it on the ice. It's completely different off that.
Before we get out of here, what are some of the things that you definitely will never date again, other than guys who invite you on a boat or 5'11"?
I will never date people who live with their mother.
Okay, that's a good rule.
Now, there can be an exception. Maybe she's dying on her deathbed and you're like, I gotta stay with her, so, you know.
Or she's living with him. That's different if she moves her into the house.
Still, yeah.
Okay.
And if they're married, that's not good.
Yeah, that would be bad, I think. Yeah.
If you knew about it. But no, if they're married, don't do that. Or have a girlfriend. My favorite is like when I've like been with the guy and then you find out they have like they're in a serious relationship and you're like, or married, you're like, okay, well, that was a little detail you left out. Let's not do that.
What about guys who don't know about sports? Like, is that something that you can't deal with?
Everyone always asks me that, and you know what I will have to say, and I gotta say, Paul, is sports take up about 80 to 90% of my day. So if you're down with that, but I don't think it would ever work because I don't think we would have a common understanding. And I think a non-sports fan would be way happier with a non-sports fan because it's such a lifestyle. And I feel like it would, not that I would go against it. Like if I fell in love with a non-sports fan, I just never see that happening. Like you can't date people of fans of teams you hate. I will say that. My mom tells me I'm crazy. I will never date teams I hate. It will never work because sports fans are psychopaths, and
you would never date a Packers fan.
I would rather die alone than ever even sleep
what if
with
they're
them.
like? What if
Nope.
they're like?
It will never happen. It will never work out.
What
it
if
will never be okay.
Kirk Cousins from the Vikings gets traded to the Packers in his final year. Let's say this is 5 years from now. He's all of a sudden
we could all wish.
He's all of a sudden single. And you go
From
on
Julie?
Is he 6'1"? I don't know how tall he is.
He is 6'3".
Okay, so he asked you out. What happens there?
I don't think Kirk would ever ask me out because I think I'm too much for him, and I won't say friggin'.
This is my hypothetical.
I know.
Okay, who's your favorite Viking player?
What?
Who's your favorite Viking player of all time?
Current or of all time?
Adrian Peterson, let's just say.
Oh, I met Adrian Peterson. We're the same height.
Okay, so Adrian Peterson.
He's on the Detroit Lions. I would date him.
Okay, so what if all of a sudden he gets traded to the Packers? And he asks you out.
Do it. I don't know if I could do it.
What if
it's a weird thing? I'm telling you, it's a weird thing.
Packers fans, okay, not married guys, can't live their mom. And obviously everything else is good to go. Are there other teams that you can't date other than Packers fans?
No, it's just Packers.
That's it? I mean,
it's really weird. Oh, Cowboys too.
Yeah.
Not just because today. Everyone thinks because today, but I was raised to hate the Cowboys.
I hated the Cowboys growing up too.
I was raised to hate the Cowboys. So Cowboys and Packers, absolutely no thank you. Goodbye, Felicia.
Hilarious.
Goodbye, Felicia. But also I also think just because the other advice I'd give to people and to myself is just because you hit it off someone and just because you like someone doesn't mean you should be with them. Like, I feel like sometimes I stay with dudes, I'm like, oh, but I really like them, or the sex is amazing. I'm like, nope. But like, there's so many other factors that come into it. You know what I mean? I think some of us stay around too long for stupid reasons.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think that you get blinded by the comfort levels that you have with people or the physical connection or whatever. And you need to move on. Those are things to know. Or if your player gets traded to the Packers, your boyfriend gets traded to the Packers.
And I hear Aaron Rodgers coming to the freaking Vikings, but he doesn't go down on women, so I can't, deal with that.
Is that a true thing?
Yeah,
Are you
Olivia
covering
Munn
your
told
Mickey
us.
Mouse? You covered your Mickey Mouse mug?
I did because I want to be like professional.
Oh, we don't care here. Come on. We can have Mickey Mouse here. They're not going to sue us. Come at me, fucking Disney. I don't care.
Give me that. Give me that. Try to sue me. No. Olivia Munn has warned us that
Okay.
that Aaron Rodgers doesn't go down on women.
But he goes down on guys, so I think it's all right. He doesn't. Oh, that's a Packers joke. Cancel me.
It's a Packers joke.
What? No, they used to say he was gay. I thought that people were saying that he was gay.
I'm going down on Olivia Munn. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, we learned a lot here. I want you to come back. If you do me a favor. If you do find out about Hampton guy, what happened, text me.
No, I will, because I've said this on other podcasts. I'm like, hey, if you're listening to this podcast, I would honestly like to know.
Do you follow him on Instagram, or have you seen his story?
You know what it is? He doesn't like social media.
Oh, maybe he's married.
No, dude, it's fucked up what happened to him. His girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend is like paralyzed.
Oh, yeah.
And then she was like, I mean, I heard this through our mutual friend. I never heard from him. I heard this story through our mutual friend. He's getting back on the dating sites because his ex-girlfriend, who he's with forever, who he was supposed to marry, got paralyzed, and he's trying to like get back out in the world.
Yeah.
So I mean, that maybe answers a lot of questions, but still, I really think it's weird.
You would think that would teach him about empathy for people, if anything.
Empathy, and you think you just like tell me what's up.
Yeah. Well,
and like I want to call him, but I never will, because I tried the day after. I was like, okay, guess
him. You did your side. The ball's in his court to make amends before he goes to hell.
Right.
Hey, Marie,
whatever.
Where can people find you to find out more about you and your?
You can find me on all social media platforms. It's part-time bro, not a full-time bro, a part-time bro, part_time_bro on all Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you haven't heard of the Brawl Network, hear it now. It's an amazing platform. I cover for the Vikings and other NFL goodness. And now I'm getting into NBA and NCAA, hopefully, if the COVID ends. I just hope it ends. Follow the Brawl Network too. But yes, just part-time bro on everything. This was fun.
Thank you, Marie, and thank you all for listening to another edition of Singles Only Podcast. Tell your friends to subscribe. By now, you know that I'm a lawyer, right? Everyone does. And I don't really practice anymore, although I still have a license. But when I need a lawyer, and I do often need a lawyer, I contact my friend Scott Shapiro. If you're injured on the job or need compensation, you're entitled to payment for more than you know. A lot of times companies will try to settle with you so you don't get a lawyer because they don't want you to know all the monies you're entitled to. Scott Shapiro has been helping injured workers for over 20 years. In addition, his firm handles multiple other cases, including personal injury cases and entertainment law issues. He has handled a lot of my entertainment stuff as well as those of guests on the show and listeners. So you need a lawyer, sure, you can consult me. But if you want a free consultation from the best, don't take any chances. Contact my friend, Scott Shapiro. His number, 312-648-8800, or check out his website, scottshapirolegal.com. There are other Scott Shapiros. Make sure you call the right one, 312-648-8800, or scottshapirolegal.com. Tell him I sent you, and he will be very happy.